All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the War Report brought to you by TagMeADate.com. I am your host, Vince Berry. We're going to forego our usual intro with our music or with a theme music over the top for today. We'll resume next week. But for today, we would like to do a 10-bell salute in the memory of those who were killed and injured at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando over the weekend. What they're calling the largest mass shooting in United States history, perpetrated by a radical Islamic terrorist, whether you want to think that or not. Whatever his beliefs were, whether it was radical Islam or mental illness or, anti-homosexuality in general, not just from religion, but some sort of prejudice. It was hate. It was an attack on not just gay, lesbian, bisexual, queer, transsexual members of the United States citizenship, but it's an attack on all United States citizens, and it's horrific, and hopefully we won't see something like this again. You say that with a little bit of you bite your tongue at the end of that, but we're going to give a 10-bell for these people because it was undeserved, and hopefully there will be a resolution, whether this was one person or part of something larger. First of all, if any of you believe in any sort of afterlife, this guy is going to the worst possible place, and whatever mission he was trying to accomplish, he's not going to accomplish because we're the United States, and we don't tolerate that kind of shit. So, in memory of all these people lost at the Pulse nightclub and injured at the Pulse nightclub, this is a 10-bell salute. Right, well, we will try and move on as best we can from that to discuss some wrestling. There are a lot of big topics. It's shitty to try and move on after something like that, and we're just going to do our best because that's how you win. That guy tried to disrupt people's lives, so if you just continue on and soldier on and show him that you won't, you show people like this that you won't bend and you won't change in the face of this threat, then that is the best sort of revenge. So we're going to soldier on, and we're going to talk about lots of stuff because, God, I don't even know where to start because it seems like so much happened. First of all, I heard some stuff about TNA possibly being bought out. I heard Billy Corgan came in and bought some minority share. Raw happened. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. So what should we try and handle first? I'm sure I'm missing other headlines here. You guys can fill me in.
Well, I think the most appropriate place to start, I think, would be the End Takeover, because that happened the night after our show last week.
Great show.
Phenomenal as always. I thought they did a great job.
They never disappoint.
No, it was booked well. I mean, some of the matches were better than others. I got to be honest with you, the cage match somewhat bored me a little bit. I don't know why. I thought the finish was great. I thought the match was good, but overall, that match kind of bored me a little bit.
Well, the thing that I thought it was a good match. I didn't get bored per se, but there are other matches, other cage matches that you can definitely say were more classic than that one. It was a very well wrestled match, and two guys did a great job. But I get what you mean. For a show called The End, we kind of expected something definitive. I mean, that was pretty definitive with the muscle buster off the middle rope or wherever it was. But there was no.
It was a great finish. 100%.
Right, Finn, but it wasn't the end for anybody. Like Finn didn't leave, the Bullet Club didn't come in and do. You know what I mean? There was no ending. There's going to be a philosophical change in NXT shortly, according to Triple H.
Well,
which is what that signifies. But
yeah, well, I'll tell you what I think. I think the ultimate plan, and this is just straight speculation on my part. I didn't read this anywhere, but what I think they're going to do, the brand split is inevitable, and the draft is inevitable.
Yep.
What I think is going to happen is they're going to call up most of the NXT that we know. I think they're going to call up guys like Baylor, Joe, Shinsuke. I mean, you name it. Austin Aries. I think all these guys are going to get called up for the most part. And I think they're going to be split between SmackDown and Raw. And what the reason they're calling it the end is because it's the end for that class. Whoever was let go, and whoever is being called up is being called up. They're making room for the new class.
All right.
Because the training center is full.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of guys that are ready to go. And you see it weekly. They're starting to bring new faces in more. Like that fucking guy. I can't stand the gimmick. No Way Jose. It drives me fucking crazy. But he's good.
Just imagine when he joins up with Breeze and Fandango.
Right. Well, but him, the 100% guy, 100%.
Perfect 10 or no?
Perfect 10.
Yeah,
perfect 10.
And then,
so I mean, there's a lot.
Gargano, Ciampa, and
right. And then of course you got Nia Jax, and you got, so I think they're making room for the new class. They're going to develop the next generation of superstars. And that's my theory on it. And I'm going to let you guys go. I just want to, I think Nia Jax, what's her face?
Was Asuka?
Asuka, yeah. I thought the match was okay. I didn't go crazy over it, but I thought it was okay. The tag match was by far the match of the night for me.
And the surprise of the night, because I did not think that title change was taking place.
Yeah, I didn't see the Revival taking it, but that match was great. The spots were great. The storytelling was great. It was a long match, and they kept me interested all the way through. And then the
Paul fucking Ellering.
Well, right. And then the return of Paul fucking Ellering with those two monsters. So that's cool. Again, goes back to my point. New stars coming in. So I thought that was great. And then, of course, Shinsuke, Austin Aries, that match was fantastic as well. And the crowd made that match fantastic. The crowd was just great. I mean, singing Shinsuke's music and, just the back and forth Shinsuke Aries, it was just overall fucking great show.
Yeah, I agree. The tag match, like you said, it came out of the kind of out of the blue. I was seeing online right before the show there were rumors that American Alpha was going to get called up soon. So then I'm like, well, shit. If they're
right, does that tell you that necessarily?
I think it does.
Can I just say one other thing since you're talking about them too? Now, let's say that is the case and they're getting called up. I just want to point out a couple things that I just keep noticing more and more. Okay? And I'm sorry, guys. I'm horrible with names.
Yeah.
The black guy.
Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan. Notice when he gets in the zone, he pulls the straps down.
Yep.
Notice the ankle locks that are being applied.
Stereo ankle locks, yep.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's looking more and more like, oh, it's true. It's damn true. And I also want to point out, he Angle wrestled, I don't know if you guys saw it, an indie show. And for the first time in years, he came out to his WWE music.
Wow.
Yeah, it was against
Did not
Zack
know
Sabre
that.
Jr. at Rev Pro over
And
in England, and they went.
and the whole
"Oh,
crowd
shit.
started
Oh
chanting,
my
"You
God."
suck." It was hilarious.
But they did "You suck," and then they all cheered for. It was just like
Yeah.
you have to at this point.
But you're right though, because they basically modeled American Alpha after the world's greatest tag team.
Well,
For
that's
the
what I'm
longest-
saying. They are Shelton and Charlie 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Only I think, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, even the wrestling, like the collegiate background. Everything. This is the perfect story to bring back Kurt Angle outside of Rusev now having the U.S. title, because that could be interesting as well.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. This is perfect storytelling.
And Gable himself is an Olympian, former Olympian,
Right.
and his charisma is fantastic, And Jordan has really come out of his shell in the last few years.
100%.
He makes that face that the Australian rules football guys make when they do that dance. He sticks his tongue out and does.
He's got great suplexes too.
He's a fucking beast.
The best thing they did was put Jordan in a tag team.
Yeah, he needed it.
He needed it because he wasn't.
So did the other guy.
Well, yeah, 100%. It was a perfect marriage for those two.
You hate to say it, but he's too small to be a main eventer. So, or at least that's the perception. So he needs to at least get his foot in the door of the tag team partner. Like Enzo. Enzo doesn't really work without Cass, and Cass, while he kind of worked without Enzo, really it's a fucking package deal. Take a look at it. There's no way that those guys can't stay together forever, or at least for a long while.
Well,
even if one guy's like Diesel and one guy Shawn Michaels or something.
Unfortunately, it does not appear that it's going to be going that way, and I'm not happy about it.
Well, no. Did I say this on one of the other podcasts? If you look up Big Cass's stuff online, it's not listed under Big Cass. It's listed under Big Cassidy, even though the shirt says Big Cass. The text and the searchable stuff all says Big Cassidy or Colin Cassidy, because WWE wants Big Cass as the nickname, but they want the character to still have the name Cassidy somehow. So they're playing that tells me Enzo and Big Cass is a tag team, but Colin Cassidy or something Cassidy is going to be a fucking guy who's going on a singles run. It's just the way that they're marketing, the way they're positioning his marketing is really telling as to what they want to do.
Yeah, but Vince, listen, you got to remember we're dealing with Vince McMahon, and Cass is a model replica of what he looks for in a champion. The size, the look. He's gotten much better on the mic. I still don't think he's great, but he's gotten a lot better, and his in-ring skill. The fact that he was able to do what he did while Enzo was out, that got Vince to the point where he was like, I want to push him as a monster.
Yeah, I think Cass is great. Somebody online, I forget who it was, one of the people in the Marks for Life group, they said, does Big Cass remind you of Test, but he can wrestle?
And there's a lot more charisma.
Yeah, they're like, this is what Test should have been. So this, maybe he's the genetic experiment that works, because he's the only guy that big. Because here's the thing, when you get that big, you usually sacrifice the ability to work. Your Andres, your big shows. It's very rare that you get a guy like Bam Bam who can do moonsaults and shit at the size he is, or guys like Braun Strowman. Look at Braun Strowman. He doesn't work nearly the style of any of the other smaller guys. There's a very specific big man style. Big Cass is a big man, but can work a small style because he's agile.
True.
I like him. I think he's got a big upside, but I think the upside is keeping him and Enzo together. And maybe at one point you just say, "Fuck it, Enzo, you're a fucking manager now, and your job is to get over the future world champion." And then guess what? We do the Diesel Shawn Michaels turn in reverse, where the little guy turns on the big guy, and then you get your WrestleMania moment because you're going to be the heel going into WrestleMania against Cass's big baby face. Boom. And I'm not saying that's next year. I'm saying that's 3 or 4 years down the line.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2 years, because Vince McMahon's crazy, so you don't know.
I agree, though, because you have both these guys. Now, if the injury that Enzo sustained was career-ending, then it definitely would have, put Enzo in the manager role immediately. But I agree that you need to keep these guys together for a while.
There's
for at
no
least a while.
fucking reason to split them right
Not
now.
at all.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
perfect together. They're the
Even if one of
momentum. At least give them a
they're
tag title
strong.
run first.
Yeah. Right, and we'll get into that as well.
I loved the New Day's reaction to them too. Like they're fans.
I like that they made fun of those corny ass Steph Curry sneakers. I'm sorry, Steph. I really do want you to win the championship, but those fucking sneakers are horrendous. I don't know if you've seen.
And
them.
then by default, Kofi is like the veteran out of all the guys.
Yes, yeah, he's the old man in the group.
That's funny to me.
He bought the Steph Curry shoes. Dude, those Steph Curry shoes, somebody said online, Steph Curry's new shoes are for people who wear New Balance but are having too much sex.
That's hilarious.
Just these white chunk. Anyway, I'm gonna get up. We're gonna fucking.
What did you guys? The last thing for Takeover. What did you think of the debut of Andrade? I wasn't expecting that entrance.
I didn't know what to expect. And
It was a
none
little
of it-
Savio Vega-ish,
Yeah, I just. don't
That
know
is
if
so
any of-
funny.
Is this shit gonna get?
I
over?
said the same shit. I was looking over at Prof. You guys in the radio world don't know who Prof is, but I looked over to Prof and I said, "Oh my God, it's Savio Vega." So that's funny that you mentioned that. It's true. And it was like the Godfather fucking feather in the cap and all that shit. I mean, I listen. It was an entertaining match.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't overly impressed.
Okay, so the one thing I do want to mention about NXT The End, that main event match, one nitpick was Finn came to the ring to do his entrance, and in order to time his big pose with the music and the lights, he climbed the cage in record fucking time.
Yeah.
He climbed the cage in half a second and killed the entire cage match gimmick for the rest of wrestling history. Because now anybody can climb the cage in half a second if they've got a bunch of fucking face paint on.
Well, no. I mean, you got to remember too.
I'm exaggerating. We're trying to be an entertainment show here.
I get it, but but I did hear those comments too. Like people are saying that, and for the record, I don't know that he'd be climbing it just as fast 10, 15 minutes into a wrestling match. You start to get a little winded and tired. You're not going to be scaling it as quickly. He did scale it pretty fucking quick, though. I will say that.
But are they going to reference that this was the first time he, as the Demon, lost?
Yeah.
That's true.
But it took, what? A beating and a top rope super finisher or whatever.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, the top rope muscle buster, yeah.
I mean, listen, Finn lost, but, he didn't, it's not like it was a slaughter. It was a great match. Somebody had to lose.
Competitive match, yep.
And everybody knew Joe was retaining the title. I mean...
Yeah.
But this would be a perfect way for Finn to come up to the main roster in time for Money in the Bank. But I keep hearing that the plan is to keep him in NXT. So I don't know.
You think the plan is to keep Finn in NXT?
I mean, that's what I keep hearing. I don't buy it. I think I think it's bullshit. But
I think so too.
Bold prediction for me is that at the next NXT, Brooklyn, back to Brooklyn, they're calling it, which is awesome, because they are back in Brooklyn. Now, a lot of people are putting together Joe Nakamura, but Triple H teased Balor Nakamura. Now, they could use that as Balor's swan song, much like Sami Zayn had in Dallas, and even make it a number one contender match, and then Nakamura gets the title from Joe at the October one or something like that.
Well, now my question to you is then who goes after Joe for the title? Is it Bobby Roode?
It could be, but I don't know if there's enough time for. I mean, well, unless they put them on TV right away. But my thought on that was returning Itami, like have Joe be the one that took him out, because that was actually the day that Joe debuted.
Oh, that's
So
true.
they could tie it all in. Now, I don't think Itami's going to win at all, but it would at least tie a loose end a little bit.
It's not a bad theory. You know what else would be quite interesting, though?
What's that?
If you guys think about this for a second, we could potentially be in the midst of another like invasion type angle. I mean, you
Maybe.
got Bobby Roode. You're gonna have Eric Young. I mean, let's call it. I mean, it's gonna happen. So you have Austin Aries. You have AJ Styles. You have. I mean, the list can go on and on.
And Samoa Joe himself.
Joe, and you got even more. There's got to be more. Who am I missing? I mean, that's only 5. There's got to be even more than that. Even if it is only that 5, without saying TNA, it's another invasion angle, and you could totally, you know what I mean? It would be kind of interesting, depending on how they, how the 35 different writers decide to go with it if they choose to.
Yeah, so I just read the spoilers from the tapings that happened like 5 days ago, and there's nothing to indicate anything. There's nothing indicating that Finn is leaving the roster anytime soon, because he just agreed to a match with Nakamura at Brooklyn, so he's sticking around for that.
Oh, so okay, all right.
And then they haven't set up a title contender at this taping for Joe. He just beat the shit out of some guy.
I said all that without having read that.
I mean, but why? What is the reason to keep Baylor in NXT?
I'm guessing to get that one more dream match out of the way.
They've been doing that for a while with him, though.
That's true, though. That's true.
One more match. Ever since didn't he take the title from Bo Dallas, and then he's continually been in the title picture since?
Yeah.
Except for when Owens and Zayn did that thing.
Bo Dallas, it was like a long time ago.
Bo Dallas fell. Oh no, Bo Dallas. It was Bo Dallas to Neville, and then Neville to Balor. Okay, that's. Yeah. I don't know. NXT is a weird. Then it's a weird ecosystem. It's a new universe we have to get used to, and then there's this Cruiserweight Classic,
which they added Cedric Alexander to.
Yes, they did. Cedric Alexander, North Carolina's own, the pride of North Carolina, if you will. So he's a good guy. He's a very, very talented wrestler. He worked Northeast Wrestling a lot, and then he signed that deal with Ring of Honor. He's been all over the indies. If you ever seen the video of a African American wrestler giving like a big back cracker to a small white woman wrestler, that's him. And then he also took a Canadian destroyer from her in their rematch. So he's a hell of a talent. And I'm really happy for him because just to be picked up by, even if it's for one match and he loses, I'm really, really proud of Cedric, because he did, you talk about doing things the right way. He did it the right way. He trained hard. He worked hard. He worked his way up, and he got to as high as you can get on the indies, which is Ring of Honor. And now he's being recognized for his talent by WWE, which I think that's the level everybody wants to get to. So, big congrats to him. Big congrats to everybody else, because that fucking whole roster is stacked.
Did you see Tajiri is in that?
Yeah, I saw that they announced like 30 spots and they left 2 of them open. And one's Tajiri and one's who's the other one? Another like veteran. Not Jamie Noble. Somebody.
I forgot who it was, but yeah.
Stacked. I'm looking over our Excel spreadsheet, Everybody got points on the Samoa Joe match. Everybody got points on the Asuka match. Everybody got points on the Cien Almas match. Everybody got nobody got points on the American Alpha match, and everybody except for Steve got points on the Shinsuke Nakamura Austin Aries match.
Fuck. So right now I'm in the running for that women's title.
The butterfly belt. That's right.
Fuck. I better have a strong showing at Money in the Bank.
It is a long road. We'll see. We'll it is a very long road. So what happened on Raw? I'm gonna be very honest with you. I did not watch Raw. What happened?
Well, Vince, I got to tell you, that's a fucking surprise.
I'm sorry. I meant to, but I was with Alexis, and that's a little more important.
No, listen. I understand. I understand. So Raw.
But wrestling night is date night, though.
That's you're damn right. I mean, listen. I'll tell you this. Raw was okay. It wasn't great by any means. There were a couple segments that were good, but I did doze in quite a few areas. So what does that tell you? But I mean, listen. They started off with they all were on the stage and they did a thing like we did, which was cool. Classy. It actually made the news too. They showed a clip of the segment. Yeah, it was on the local news here. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, Raw was okay. Shane was back. Him and Steph went back and forth. Still no Wyatts. So I'm wanting to know what the fuck is going on there because they were supposed to be back already. What else? I will tell you, the Shield, Dean Ambrose, had his show.
That went exactly how I thought it would.
Yeah, but it was entertaining. It was good.
I mean that as a good thing.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. What do you talk about?
Well, the way I knew they were going to somehow tease that Ambrose, should he win Money in the Bank, he's going to cash in on either one of them. It doesn't matter. But they touched on some of the things that the Shield did together, and it was just a good, pretty decent segment.
And Rollins was great because he was saying, yeah, we really did. We really had some great times. But my favorite moment with all of us in the ring together was when I stabbed you in the back and hit you with the chair. Shit like that. But it was a cool segment, and then of course Ambrose taking Reigns out at the end was great.
Crowd loved that one.
Yeah.
Did who got booed?
Oh, Reigns.
This isn't working, is it?
No, but we fucking knew that. There is nothing they can do. It's not going to happen.
They had The Rock come out, and they still booed him.
Yeah,
Did you notice Ambrose was trying to pretend that Reigns wasn't getting booed?
It's just not going to happen, dude. It's just not going to happen.
Well, actually, another funny moment was right when Rollins first got in. And then Ambrose just pats him on the back. I thought that was hysterical.
You know what else was funny? Kane, corporate Kane, was petitioning all night to run SmackDown. And at the end, Shane's like, unfortunately, we're not looking in your direction. And so Kane goes, is it because I hooked your balls up to a electric battery and like shocked your balls or whatever? And he's like, no hard feelings, right? Or something like that. But
he's like, no, that's not why, but it didn't do you any favors.
Yeah. But
I'm so glad that they mentioned that.
Yeah. I mean, what else? So the fucking Charlotte and her beast of a manager, what's Dana Brooks? I fucking hate her, dude. I fucking hate her. But Charlotte wrestled, and Dana Brooke basically cost Charlotte the match by accident. Right. And Charlotte is just horrible on the microphone. Like, it's just, I don't know why anyone says otherwise. Like, she just doesn't sound good when she talks. I don't know what it is. It drives me crazy. She's great in the ring, and I love her, but
She's not her father.
that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
She's
It's
good in
an
the
unfair
ring.
criticism, but
She's good in the ring, definitely. But yeah, on the mic, it's not adding up. And Dana Brooke doesn't do her any favors either.
Listen, let's not criticize Charlotte too hard. The Flair children don't really do too well when they can't live up to their dad's legacy.
That's an impossible legacy to live up to.
If history's any indication, they don't come out the other end looking too good. Unfortunately.
The reverse McFoley?
Yeah. Oh goodness. Because even now, what's his name? Rick's oldest son, David. He's heavy. I mean, he seems happy. He's not wrestling anymore. But when he was on TV, how sad did he look? He was like,
it was just
"No,
atrocious.
I'm not my dad. I'm not in the same shape he's in. I can't wrestle as well as him. I can't talk as well as him. I'm just doing this for the paycheck. I'm making some good money. Fuck it." But at the end of the day, he was just like,
Wasn't he wrestling during Russo booking?
yeah, he was.
And thank God they never put him as a horseman.
Oh my God!
That would be.
Although they did give him the U.S. title for a cup of coffee.
Everybody got that.
And he was banging Stacy Keibler, so
Yeah, he won that end.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I have an autograph of David Flair and Stacy Keibler as when she was Miss Hancock.
Oh wow!
She signed it, Miss Hancock. I have it.
I was gonna say she signed Stacy Keibler worth more money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But so yeah, what else happened on Raw?
Contrast signing.
Oh,
if
right.
I didn't miss that.
No, you're right. That was the main event. Well, no, that wasn't. That started the second hour or the third hour. So yeah, the contract signing, AJ versus Cena. That was actually it was. You know what? It didn't turn into chaos. Like it usually does.
Right.
So that was kind of cool. But the way Cena did it was cool. Like he had two contracts, and they were both facing AJ Styles, and one was like John Cena versus AJ Styles, and the other one was John Cena versus AJ Styles and the Club. And he convinced him to sign the one that was just versus AJ.
Right. I mean, that's interesting. But I don't think AJ ever said he wanted a 3-on-1 match, right?
Well, he kind of implied that he wanted them there because if he was to actually lose the match against John Cena, John would do to him what he's done to everyone else and bury them.
Oh, okay.
What are the chances of some kind of double turn where they end up coming out anyway, but they help Cena win?
Is there any fucking chance that AJ Styles is actually going to win this match?
There's a good shot. Look at Kevin Owens.
I don't know.
I mean, after he lost to Cena, he got mecha buried. I mean,
what's that banging noise?
Oh, that's my fault.
Oh.
I was literally tapping a cap. I didn't think it would pick up that.
I think he wins. I think AJ wins the second one.
How does AJ not win the first one?
He's got to win the first one.
In my pick, I might go with AJ.
Cena historically puts people over at SummerSlam, so that's why I'm saying that's the only.
The Kevin Owens feud, if you go the same route, he won Money in the Bank and lost the last two.
I think they're gonna go 1-1-1. Like, and Cena AJ Cena. They're gonna do a best of 3. Cena's gonna put him over at SummerSlam, and then
like the rubber match will be at SummerSlam.
Right. The rubber match is gonna be the middle match is gonna be at SummerSlam, where fucking AJ wins, and then the final match is gonna be whatever the fuck is after SummerSlam. I don't know.
I believe Night of Champions.
Okay, Night of Champions. Okay, that makes.
Well, we do a battleground in between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam.
So, since we're talking pay-per-views and whatnot, real quick, this might be a good time to talk about the rumor going around.
That is a great segue, yes.
The rumor going around that they are going to have 2 network specials per month, one for Raw and one for SmackDown. I don't really understand why the fuck we need to do that. Just combine the two on one special a month. I mean, I know Eric is hell-bent against it, that it's going to be overkill. I usually don't agree with Eric, but on this one, I kind of do.
If they do them every 3 weeks, and each, like, here's what I'm somebody proposed online, and I think is great. If they did a pay-per-view every 3 weeks, but alternated what brand it was, so each brand has 6 weeks to build a story to pay-per-view.
Oh, I like that. That's not bad.
That would be better than just tune in, Sunday the 7th, and then tune in Sunday the 14th, and then you're gonna fucking blow your brains out.
Well, plus there won't be any time to build.
Right.
Yeah.
Part of me likes this because, part of me dislikes it because it's a lot more content to consume. And if you want to stay up to date, you have to consume as much of the content as possible, or at least read the recaps like I do, to try and keep apprised of the storylines. So it just adds more content that you have to try and keep up with if you want the full understanding of what's going on. Whether or not you choose to watch that media is up to you, ultimately, but, if you want to feel as informed as you could, you try and consume as much as you can. This just adds more. Part of me thinks that this is a great idea, because that means Roman Reigns is going to main event the pay-per-view, and I don't have to fucking watch it. I can wait for the other pay-per-view. So that's just, like, if they just stack, like, if John Cena and Roman Reigns and all the bullshit gagas on Raw, and then, like, AJ and Owens and Ambrose and all those guys are on fucking SmackDown, and you can just watch the SmackDown pay-per-view, like back in the day when you would watch SmackDown for the SmackDown 6 and nobody gave a shit about Raw because it was all roidy magoos.
I love that term.
OSW Review Podcast. Best wrestling podcast there is, aside from us, of course.
Good save.
Of course.
They're a great bunch. And, I guess this is as good a time as any because Charlie's not here. Vance, let me stop you right there. You mentioned OSW Review. Well, let me tell you what, baby. OSW Review is coming because of Gimmickry Entertainment to WrestleCon at WrestleMania next year.
Cheap plug.
I had to do the Charlie plug because he's not here. I'm sorry for butchering the accent, Charlie.
It was decent.
Yeah, Charlie, MIA, the busiest man in wrestling.
I still don't know how he lives in Vegas and promotes shows in North Carolina. That blows my mind.
Yeah, he's incredible. Hey,
there's a will, there's a way.
I guess so, man. I guess so.
He's living the wrestling dream.
The wrestling dream, seriously.
I can somewhat understand the two pay-per-views if you're from the company standpoint. You technically add value to the network, and you really distinguish the two brands.
And you're adding another stream of revenue because you're adding one more show, or maybe it's just going to take the place of a house show. But now that house show's ticket prices are going to be worth more, so that event is worth more than a house show, and they're at the bottom line.
And you know what? And they need to differentiate the shows as much as possible, but make them feel as equal. I mean, obviously, SmackDown going live is a good start.
SmackDown needs the fist.
Yes.
Yes, it needs the fist.
That is the only thing that SmackDown needs is the fist, and then
I am so on board with that.
Show.
Yeah, I love the fist.
And then people could jump off it and shit. Oh.
But ultimately, to me, my first thought was overkill, and it's a ridiculous amount of shit.
Oh, I still think it's
overkill. You can't build
overkill.
anything, and less is more. You know, it's too fucking much. That's why I never liked the Lockdown pay-per-view, because it's all cage matches. I mean, look, this is why nobody gives a shit about cage matches anymore, because we're desensitized to them. We've seen too many. Maybe that's part of the reason that Joe Balor was a little boring, because you've seen one cage match, you've seen them all. You know.
I mean, that's kind of true. There's only so much you can do inside of a cage.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, though. I wouldn't mind if they brought back the blue steel cage, the bars.
It would at least make it more visually interesting because the
I
black,
like how they.
it just
Sorry,
takes.
go ahead.
The black just doesn't. It blends in. You know what I mean? So
The mesh,
the blue
yeah.
looked like something. You saw the barrier.
Yeah, I mean, look, they could do like they did at St. Valentine's Day Massacre, where it was black, but it was the same old, like, the steel bar cage. But you think of that cage, and you think of classics like Bret Owen and stuff like that. Hogan Bundy. Not that was a great match, but it took place in that cage.
You didn't think about like the cage match that we saw this week was better than the cage match that Jericho and Ambrose put on. And look at what happened in there. Nothing really happened until the thumbtack spot. Everything else was just kind of some bullshit stuff. And then they did thumbtacks.
Right.
At least it ended with the thumbtacks.
Yes, thank God. They didn't escalate from there. But that was it. It was a one-spot match. Yeah. And because there's no more blood. Not that I'm saying that it's a great idea to take a piece of razor blade and put it in the tape on your finger and then at a certain point in the show cut your fucking forehead open with a piece of razor blade. But I'm also saying that Ric Flair did it, made a lot of money doing it, and there's a reason they used to do it, because it fucking drew money. Because when you watch, like I watch UFC 199. What happened at UFC 199? Dan Henderson punched a motherfucker in the face and sent his nose to the other side of his face. That's just what happened. It was violent and it was beautiful and it was savage. And there was other stuff like that. There were people getting knocked out in that fight. Big left hooks, just bombs. And they were, one guy was fighting and got so one of the other fights I was watching maybe a week before, that was a Fox UFC on Fox. The guy got so cut open so badly, the doctor, like they patched him up and all that shit, and then right before the round started, the doctor got back in the ring to double check to make sure that he could fight, and the guy's like, listen, I'm fine. And he went back out there and he stood and just fucking fought, and that's what's missing from wrestling. These guys are taking all kinds of punishment, and then they hop up and they don't look like anything happened. Spoiler alert, these guys are walking around no-selling these injuries when they're really fucking, like, their back's broken in real life. Like, they're hiding the legitimacy of the injuries to portray this invincible kind of character when they're all injured right now. They're all suffering some kind of pain or ache or joint discomfort or whatever you want to call it, muscle tightness or cramps. They're all injured. If you added blood to it, at least it represents that that struggle's happening in real life. Because look at Mick Foley now. If you ever meet Mick Foley, it's the saddest thing in the world because the guy can barely move. It looks like every step he takes, he's in pain.
He's moving a lot better now.
I'm glad, but back when he was at his biggest, and I've seen him at his biggest, like in person. It's sad. So but you still all his knees are shot, his back's shot, he's hunched over.
Yeah. With the amount of
he shuffles, he doesn't walk.
But so then you're watching, but you get people that when they end their careers are very, very injured and very, could be potentially crippled, but they portray invincible characters on television, so there's no consequence. They just hop right back up even if they lose, and you show them the next week, and they've got tape, they've got ace bandage around their abdomen, so you knew they got hurt a little bit. It's
what about what happened with Dynamite Kid? That's another sad story.
Yeah. Dynamite Kid and Daniel Bryan are the same story with two different endings. Luckily for Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Dynamite Kid was fantastic, and he just pushed himself to a physical limit that was he tried to work as if he was some kind of invincible creature and not a human being with limits that you can push the body to. He just pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, and eventually his body pushed back and said no more, and then which led to painkillers and led to this and that and everything else. But it was a passion. He had such a passion.
Speaking of, what is it that led to Luger ending up in like a wheelchair and stuff like that?
Yeah, I never heard that
Did
story.
he get sick or something? What was it? I don't remember.
It's just steroids, man. His body is broken down. The muscles, they were so overinflated over the years. I think he just can't handle it anymore. Like they just deflate, they atrophy. He's not in great physical shape. He's much thinner. I think I think that's a thing. Like he's permanently off the steroids and he's not working out. And even if like let's say you stop the steroids and you kept working out, you maintain some kind of shape. But what if your body's so broken down that you can't even keep up to do physical activity? It just hurts, or you're unable to. And then your body, you just get skinny, and your body's so used to. It's almost like a fat person loses weight and they've still got fucking leftover skin. Well, he was working out and so buff over the years that as his muscles atrophy, I mean, he looks sunken, he looks hollow.
Similar happened to Orndorff. He had tremendous atrophy in his left arm,
and he
specifically
continued to work.
And do you think that had guys like Rude and Hercules lived, do you think the same thing probably would have happened to them because they had the enlarged heart thing due to all the steroids and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Probably would have been a similar outcome for them 100%. Had they not passed away when they did.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I was watching Starrcade 2000, and he looked terrible.
Wait, who was in Starrcade 2000?
Orndorff, because he was with
not Orndorff. Fuck. We were just talking about. My brain just completely turned off.
Oh, okay.
Wheelchair guy.
Oh, Lex Luger.
Oh,
Luger. Sorry, my brain just.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was bad.
Because Orndorff had an injury in his left arm that he needed to deal with, but I don't know if it was a pinched nerve or some kind of deal like that. I'm not going to speak to what the actual injury was. I'm not sure. But he was working Hogan at the time, and he was on top, and he didn't get it treated, and that's what happened to his arm. Eventually, the injury was too severe. They couldn't even really correct it, and he has severe muscle atrophy in that arm. And he used to, I forget which shoot interview it was because I watch a lot of them, but trying to remember who it even would have been. I don't know. I forget who it was, but they said he used to, might have been Kevin Nash. Not sure. But they said Orndorff used to, if he was selling a beatdown, he would face the hard camera with his big arm, just to make sure that the camera caught the right arm, so he'd tuck the other one and kind of put the big arm up. I get it, but it's just, it's unfortunate that he even had to do that. But the question was why go through all this? He goes, I was on top.
Yeah.
And actually, yes, I think that was all from a Kevin Nash shoot.
Now, was the thought process that he would have lost his push in line if he went and had the surgery?
If he went and had the surgery, he would have had to been written off TV, and then he would have lost his push and lost his momentum.
And he was written off anyway, but between like most of '87. He came back, was on Hogan's team in Survivor Series, had the tease with feud with Rude because Heenan replaced him with Rude, and then after that you didn't see Orndorff again until WCW a couple of years later.
Right. Well, when was he feuding with Hogan?
86.
Okay. That's when I think the injury might have happened. Around that time.
And that was Orndorff in his prime.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why he kept working through it, because he was in his prime. And he knew you only got one shot at this. Make as much money as you can. And that's probably why he was off TV 87 through 90 to get back on TV. 89. I don't even know what year he came back. I wouldn't even have been aware of television. I would have been 2.
Yeah.
So we have about 10 minutes left. Should we go over picks and talk about Money in the Bank?
Yes, let's do it. We'll start from...
Right, that is the 19th. Okay, it's coming up.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
We'll start with the women's tag team match. The team of Charlotte and Dana Brooke against Natalya and Becky Lynch. You guys, some of the people who haven't put their picks in yet, you have to scroll to the next, not the next page, but you have to scroll down further to get to the women's match.
I don't have anything in there yet, do I?
No, Steve, you do not. Eric has all. He doesn't. Eric hasn't put in the women's match yet either.
Well, I'll tell you right now, for the women's, I say Becky Lynch and Natalya are winning that match.
Yeah, that's my sense.
Yeah, and without the title on the line, the faces will go over.
Yeah.
Dana Brooke is going to be the one that gets pinned.
Yep.
and that's going to start the feud between Charlotte and Dana Brooke.
I think Charlotte's going to get pinned. And have Charlotte's going to blame Dana for it.
It's kind of amazing, though, that they just brought Dana Brooke into this, and they're already teasing the split.
Well, yeah, probably because they realize it's like not working.
Because it's not working. Yeah, they're like, you know what? This is not a great pair. Let's just. But
that was like TNA. You remember whenever TNA debuted a WWE guy, they'd have him come in as a big baby face, and they'd be over for like one pay-per-view, and then like the fans would be fucking sick of him. They're like, okay, we paid our admission universal to see Kurt Angle, and then they turn him heel. And then they did the same thing. Christian Cage, big baby face, boom. Like three months later, heel. Dudley Boys came in as baby faces. Like 2 months later, they turned heel. And it was just a constant stream of like, were you in WWE? Yeah, come in and get a big baby face pop, and then later we're gonna turn you heel.
Even Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. Yep.
But here's the fear I have, is that I'm worried that if they do this, because I had heard rumors about breaking them up and having Dana Brooke be the face out of it, and making her like the female Roman Reigns, which I hope does not take place.
Jesus.
She would be the Roman Reigns. It would fit into the no one would like her.
Yeah. Speaking of nobody liking her, this is only relevant to me and Ryan, but WWE or Funko announced their next series, Wave 2 of the Funko Pops WWE series. Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Kevin Owens, Bret Hart, and Eva fucking Marie. They made one for Eva Marie. So if you're a diehard collector and you need to complete the set, you have to give money to Eva Marie. You are funding her Corvette.
I really like the Bray Wyatt one.
The Bray Wyatt one is really, and I'm probably gonna get all of them except for the Eva Marie one because
I
might get Bray Wyatt
figures. What are they?
Yeah, they're little
Funko.
Yeah, have you ever seen? They're like these little big-headed bobblehead dolls.
Oh, okay.
They're like simple
characters.
Yeah, they have a.
I haven't seen them.
I'll send a picture.
Yeah, they're called Funko Pop figures, but Funko is spelled like the word funky, but with an O at the end instead. And they're
fun
Japanese?
And then Co.
And it's but with a K. Yeah, and it's they're a Japanese company and they just have licenses for everything. So if you have like an interest in a television show, like they have a Game of Thrones set, they've got a Ghostbusters set, they've got a Breaking Bad set, and they just make a bunch of characters in these little collectible figures, and they're all basically the same kind of dimensions, and they're little like big-headed bobblehead dolls, and they have different collectible ones, and some can be exclusive to one store or another, or some you can only get at comic book conventions and shit. So it's basically grown-up Beanie Babies, but instead of dumb cows and shit that don't look like anything except for a cow, these are collectibles that are all a series from one company. They're all very uniform, but they're across music and television and film,
every platform,
and popular culture and comics. I've got a bunch of Civil War ones. I've got a bunch of other Marvel ones. I've got a miniature Iron Throne with a little Jon Snow guy. So like, it's really a lot of it's a fun collecting thing, but it speaks to what they're trying to do with Eva Marie. That this is a big popular toy right now that people are starting to collect, this series of toys, and they put Eva Marie in the line. They have a lot of faith in this girl, and I'm not sure why.
I don't get why they didn't do one for Sasha Banks.
Right.
That'd be a great one.
Did they do one for Finn Balor? I'm sure they did.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
The Demon one would be great.
Yeah, there's a guy, independent wrestler called Dave Cole, and Funko also supplies blanks for like $10 or $11. You can buy like basically an all-white, completely blank facial featured doll that you can then use like acrylic paint or Sculpey clay or whatever to decorate and make your own. So Dave Cole is an indie wrestler around here. If you look up Dave Cole, DaveColeDojo.com, I think, and he does a lot of art. He's a very talented artist.
Was he in Providence? I think we met him.
Yeah, I think you probably have met him if you've gone to a New England indie show. He's a very, very nice guy, and he's a very talented artist. He made a Finn Balor custom one. So he took a blank and he painted it like Finn Balor, and it was very, very cool.
That's awesome.
So to see what somebody, not an amateur, but you know what I mean, an artist taking just one of the blanks and making it, imagine what they could actually do. And it's just a matter of time, because I have a feeling they're going to do an NXT set that's going to have Nakamura, Joe, and Finn at least in it. These things come out, waves come out every 6 months. Oh, Asuka would be a great, because they could have an Asuka. That would be great. They do exclusive figures, so they could do like an Asuka, and then like an Asuka with the mask as like an exclusive figure, and like in the kimono. Oh,
what happened to Bailey with the side ponytail?
Bailey with the bobble-headed dealies.
You gotta send a picture, because I gotta see what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh man! All right, we'll send you a picture on the. Well, yes, you send a picture, but yeah, because I shared the one a story on my Facebook either yesterday or the day before. Or either today or yesterday about them being released. But
yeah, we definitely met him at the New England Fan Fest.
Yeah, Dave Cole is very.
I remember.
So let's see. So we got the women's match: Rusev against Titus, U.S. title.
Rusev keeps the belt.
Yeah.
He's got to keep it.
Cena, AJ Styles.
I'm gonna go AJ.
Yep.
Steve's going AJ.
You know what? I put Cena, but I'm second guessing a lot of these. I may be changing a lot of these before Sunday.
That's what I'm waiting for SmackDown.
I'm going with Cena. I'll take the risk of a point there if everybody else is right, but I'm gonna go with Cena. We'll see what happens. Apollo Crews, Sheamus.
Cruz.
Yeah. Cruise missile all the way. 4-way for the WWE Tag Team Championships.
That's so iffy to me.
I could see the Vaudevillains taking it.
Really?
See, he's the one that's the one that I see
counted
not
out.
winning at all.
It's more of the whole idea of faces chasing the title than.
All right. The only thing I was thinking was maybe you keep the New Day with the titles and then you draft them to like SmackDown, and then that's a reason for people to watch SmackDown.
True.
But I don't know.
I was just pointing out the possibility that.
Right. Yeah. No. And nobody's opinion is invalid here, because we have no clue what this shit is going to change 12 times the day of the show anyway. So, it's reckless speculation. Let's see here. Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin.
Corbin's got to win it.
I am going with Baron Corbin.
I'd go Ziggler, because what's the point in having Corbin win 4 matches in a row?
To really hammer home that he's going to go lose to Roman Reigns next month at whatever crappy pay-per-view is in between this and SummerSlam.
How long do you foresee Corbin in the company?
Oh, Jesus, he's going to be one of those guys. Listen, he's either going to be the Beast of Bogo Road. What was that guy? The Australian guy who snapped and left because he wasn't getting over. Or he's going to be one of those perennial. Yeah, he's either going to be a Nathan Jones or he's going to be like a fucking Big Show who just sticks around and does his thing for the next fucking however long. Like Viscera. Remember Viscera never really had a purpose after about 1997? So he just stuck around and did things, and then at one point he got suspenders, and I don't know. It was just they did what they could with him, and I love Big Vis, and he was a great worker. They just never really found a fucking. He just hung
remember
around.
seeing him at a house show, and my God, he was big.
I've met him before.
I saw him at a house show in '95. Yeah,
I saw him
in the
2000s.
I saw him when he was King
was
Mabel.
Bad.
King Mabel back in the day. No, I met him 2008.
My favorite moment, and Steve is probably going to agree with me on this, is of Viscera is when he was on the date with Trish. And Steve, finish this up for me.
Left side of the menu is all me, dogs.
Yep.
Left side. All right, Money in the Bank.
That's a tough one. My gut's saying Dean Ambrose.
You know how I'd book that?
How would you?
I'd have Rollins win the title off Reigns and have Ambrose cash in the Money in the Bank, winning the title.
Right. So we'll address these kind of simultaneously then. I think Ambrose could take it. Listen. The fact that they mentioned it means that he might not.
After Raw, I think I'm going to change it to Ambrose because I had Owens, but I'm like Owens may be too predictable.
Why do you think? I think maybe they're making Ambrose too predictable, or are they making him predictable because that's just what they're doing nowadays? Everything's coming down Broad Street.
I think it just makes the most sense to have Ambrose.
Well, I think so. It sets the road for the Shield triple threat. The one thing anybody's ever wanted in the world in wrestling.
That and you could say the Shield held the WWE title all in one night.
That's kind of what my whole thought process is. I'd love that to happen.
All right, so main event. Assumed main event, unless they put AJ Cena. Rollins Reigns for the WWE title. So far, we have a resounding opinion that Roman Reigns is retaining. E, S, and V have all put down Reigns. So
most likely.
As of now, I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I think that Reigns is probably going to hold it, but I would love to see Rollins win.
I added an extra, please tell me if I'm overstepping, but I added an extra question to the spreadsheet. Will there be a cash-in?
That would be a great up until it gets cashed in.
So what you mean leave it as a...
We'll leave it up until the briefcase gets cashed in.
Yes, on every pay-per-view until it gets cashed in, that will be it will be on there. Yeah.
But see, that the bonus point happened on Raw or SmackDown though too.
Yeah. Right, but what we're saying is we'll leave it in as a question, so somebody, if you guess it right, you get a point.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that.
Or we should just say
the month.
The month.
From the one, if it's a Raw or SmackDown cashed in.
See, this one's kind of hard because my feeling is if Ambrose does win, I think there's a very good chance he's cashing in same night.
Yeah,
but if he doesn't, then I wouldn't say I think it's getting cashed in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Huh.
It's weird.
All right, then maybe.
What about a seventh competitor?
They're saying Dave Meltzer said there isn't going to be a seventh competitor, but who knows?
Yeah.
If so,
I've heard it floating around. I'd say Bray Wyatt.
Okay. I don't mind that.
I would love to see him win.
Along with his lantern? Or is he going to, super glue the lantern to the briefcase? So here he can only carry
What about a light-up briefcase?
A light-up briefcase. You'd have to talk to Chris Jericho. Jericho would be like, I've got a guy for that, you idiot!
Spit idiot. I love that expression.
Chris Jericho looks like... what's his name? What's that singer? John Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Got the same haircut.
Yeah, and the same kind of just saggy overall features now that he's starting to age a little bit. I love Chris Jericho, but I mean, if you've seen the recent, it's like a Dish Network or an Xfinity commercial with John Bon Jovi, it's indistinguishable from him and Jericho. Like they're twins. And you can throw Rod Stewart in there too, but almost not really. Rod Stewart looks like one of the things from Labyrinth.
Yes.
Terrible. All right, for anybody that's under our age, go Google any of these so you know who we're talking about. Oh my God.
That whole movie is essentially David Bowie's crotch.
Yeah, it was an intense crotch. My God.
I think that's the whole point of. I think David Bowie's whole life could be summed up by that. He was an intense. It was an intense crotch. That guy was a hell of a dude. Do we have any final thoughts for this pay-per-view or any expectations? Is there going to be any Bullet Club shenanigans? What do we expect here? Is this just going to be a straightforward fucking pay-per-view?
There's going to be Bullet Club stuff.
I mean, I seriously think just because, especially that AJ signed the contract, that it's just going to be him and Cena is all the more reason why the Bullet Club's still going to be a part of that match.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, they have to be.
They're still going to interfere. They're still going to do something.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think that's pretty. Unless there's some kind of backstage thing where he goes, guys, listen, I want to be able to do this one on my own.
Do we see the Usos? That's the question.
Phenomenal. Oh my God, the fucking Jesus Christ!
I think that's been beaten to death already.
I know it's been beaten to death. I'm just thinking who would come out.
Thing. Yeah, that's their new thing is beating shit to death. Unless the Bullet Club wins the tag team titles and then the Usos come out and fucking interfere when the Bullet to protect whomever
Cena
from the Bullet Club, right? Cena from the Bullet Club, but then you've got your new tag team feud.
Yeah.
Which would be for the titles, but who cares? I don't give a shit about the Usos.
I don't either, but
they seem like
I just could see them doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would not put it past them.
I don't have any final thoughts about the pay-per-view itself, but I just wanted to ask this to anybody. Has anybody seen the resurrection of Jake the Snake?
I need to watch it.
Not yet, but
I've seen. Listen, I almost got my friends to watch it last night, but I'm gonna end up watching it.
It's a must-watch, in my opinion. It was great, sad at many points, obviously, and it's a tough story but it's inspirational as well. It's something for everybody, I think.
It's an ugly look at the business.
How is it compared to like Beyond the Mat?
I mean, it's got just as much, sadness with working with drugs and alcohol and dealing with that shit. But it's got a lot more inspirational stuff as far as like the work that DDP put through for him and Scott. Yeah, I mean, and they had Scott Hall was a big part of this too.
That's great.
So kudos to Diamond Dallas Page for really helping turn these guys around.
Yeah, that guy's great. Also, while we're giving credit, I think everybody's seen this video now. Zach Gowen ran the Ninja Warrior course.
Yeah.
Like a doctor. It was great. I wish he got a little bit more momentum because I think if he got enough momentum on those swings, he could have made it into that next part. I really wanted him to get to the fucking
the wall,
crescent wall. Yeah, that wall jump. I would have loved to see him do the wall jump. I hope he comes back next year whenever they allow him to try again, and maybe he could go to Japan and work on it because they have gyms specifically to train for that shit now in Japan because they're crazy.
Yep. Did you guys talk about TNA?
Oh no, TNA is now owned by the Nazis, right? and Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan and the Harris.
I just can't believe how the story that they actually came that close to not having Slammiversary.
Yeah, that's scary that they had to have like
Hasn't
Billy
it been
Corgan
that close for a number of years now?
Yeah, but this is day of Billy Corgan had to put down money to get this show on the road, to even get the production trucks to the building.
He should put his money together with Toby Keith.
I think that would be the same investment level as
probably
TNA. No offense to Jeff Jarrett. What is it, year 3 we're on?
Why don't we invest in cash for gold? Wait.
Is gold up or down right now?
I don't know.
It's been pretty high. So I'd say that's even lower.
TNA, oh man, they just...
It's sad.
They keep getting batteries.
Listen, I love that Matt Hardy knows how bad this shit is and is doing this shit on purpose now. That's my opinion. Matt Hardy.
Did you see
how goofy this shit
the
is.
Jeff Hardy interview?
I haven't seen the Jeff Hardy interview.
He mentioned he wants to retire at WrestleMania.
Wow. Well, that's nice to do on a TNA video.
He had also said that he wanted to top Shane McMahon's Hell in a Cell jump.
No, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But that,
I don't know how you top that.
You don't.
Without killing yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, as soon as Jeff said that, I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
He can say it all he wants. There's one guy that's going to decide that shit.
Yeah, I
But,
don't
like,
think Vince is going to let him go kill himself.
But don't you think ultimately most people would want to probably end their careers at a WrestleMania?
Right? Everybody
Yeah.
says that. Yeah.
But
You get
missed
to call back at the
TNA
Royal
run, I wouldn't say that you come out and say it.
Jeff Hardy, as much as he does like stupid things every once in a while, and he's had his share of problems, but he could main event WrestleMania right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm not
came
saying
back.
anything.
With 2 weeks notice, he could main event WrestleMania.
I could agree with that. I was just thinking he's smart enough to know not go out and say, I'd rather be at this company to retire.
Now Matt Hardy knows how insane all this bullshit is, and he's doing it on purpose, because he did a live stream yesterday after the pay-per-view, and the title was, "It is not over, Brother Nero." It was in all caps, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
And the live stream was 5 minutes long, and all he did was look at the camera and snarl and pull his hair. Like he was gonna say something, like, you know how like wrestlers psych themselves up before cutting a promo, and he goes.
It was nuts. It was.
Yeah, and it was.
I can't say I watched it all 5 minutes.
I watched the entire 5 minutes. I was mesmerized that he did this with a straight face for 5 minutes, and
it
then
was impressive.
He kept a straight face the entire time, and then knocked the camera over, and that was it. That was it. He didn't cut a promo at all. He didn't say a thing. He snarled at the camera for 5 minutes. He's a madman. And I think he knows. He has to know. All right. Any final thoughts? How about you, Steve?
Gave me a date. Has something pretty big coming very, very soon. So stay tuned.
Holla, holla,
I'm pretty
holla.
fucking excited. Holla, holla, holla.
This is going to be fun. We got a lot of big things happening behind the scenes here at Tag Me a Date. You should check out tagmeadate.com. Where Wrestling Night is Date Night is the only dating site for wrestling fans. If you don't believe me, Google it. Doesn't exist. Screw
I'd
you.
say you could find this ugly mug there, but that'd scare people off.
You can find lots of not ugly mugs at tagmeadate.com. And who knows? You can have your WWE Netflix or WWE Network and Chill partner found. That should be an option. That instead of like, what are you looking for? Like marriage, dating, fling, whatever. One of the options should be WWE Network and Chill.
I like that.
Be great.
Steve, you were looking for suggestions. That's something.
How about turn that into a shirt?
But we can't say WWE.
Just say
we
Network
have to
and Chill.
we just say Network and Chill. That's how we get around it. Damn it, we can't sue them. Foiled again. Sorry, Vince.
But everybody's got a price.
For the $1 Million Man. I'll work on that later. Network and Chill. That's gonna be fun.
I have someone in my back pocket. I could have him throw it up and make it in 2 minutes.
Because I think what it has to be is the WWE Network font for network, and then and Chill in the Netflix font.
Yep.
And then maybe just a series of eggplant emojis. That's when you're talking about your penis. Eric, that's the new strategy. If you go on Tag Me a Date and you send a message to a girl, just send a bunch of eggplants. She'll get the picture. No, don't do that. Oh, we should stop the podcast, huh? Yeah. All right, tagmeadate.com. Sign up before we start charging money, because this thing's going to take off on a goddamn rocket ship. And we're going to be a cruise ship to Mallorca, throwing $100 bills in the air when we start charging money for this shit. So sign up while it's still free. Tagmeadate.com.